Right, I'm urgently going to need somebody to explain the French transfer system to me. Several of you have already tried. I can't get my head around it. I specifically need to know the details around the Joker transfer thing, which I think might be a gag that someone's trying to wind me up with. And also, what's the deal with emergency goalkeeper signings? More on that in a minute. Hello and welcome to Season 8, Episode 3 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we're away against a team I don't know how to pronounce, Guingamp. And then at home against a team I don't know how to pronounce, Valenciennes, maybe. I think I was closer with the second one than the first one. Things have been going quite well since you were last with me, or at least they were. We won 3 games on the bounce. You were there for 2 of them, but we won the next game as well. Then we went and drew against Nantes, which was... we got a hat-trick for our new £1 point something million pound signing. But quite upsetting when you concede a last-minute goal to rob you of your 4th straight win. We then lost... In fact, no... The losses then started when our goalkeeper got injured. Diallo, our only goalkeeper, is out for 6 months with knee tendinitis. The gameman then immediately told me that I can sign an emergency transfer replacement. So I did, but he doesn't join until June. So I tried to sign another goalkeeper, this guy. Really double-checked and tried to see if there was any way at all that we could make a transfer go through now. I don't think there is, but it definitely told me that I could have an emergency transfer. So I don't know. We've just spent £500,000. I mean, this guy looks good. Luca Lazzarini, 28-year-old Italian. He's better than Diallo, so that's a positive, I guess. He's been around in France for a little while now. But I guess he's been the backup at Bordeaux for the last 4 years, but has played 1 full season of football in his career and had the opportunity to play the end of this season, but... I don't know how to make an emergency transfer go through. And this Joker transfer thing that you all keep telling me you can sign 1 player outside the transfer window from a French club, unless we've already done it this season. Let's have a look at the transfer history. Maybe it happened before I arrived. Doesn't look like it. I don't understand them. Why can't we sign a replacement goalkeeper? It means that we don't have a goalkeeper. Not only do we not have a goalkeeper, but the young lad who came in to replace our goalkeeper, we were 3-1 up in the 11th round of the French Cup, and he broke his finger. He's now out for 6 weeks. Our youth team goalkeeper is out for 6 weeks. So we then let Lorient back into the game. They won it in extra time, so we're out of the French Cup. And we really are down to bare bones in the goalkeeping department, and I don't know what to do. Form had been looking good. Our league position is not as bad as it could be. We're not in the relegation zone. We're not in the automatic relegation zone. We're still sat in a relegation playoff spot. And what's that? With 9 games to go, we're only 1 point ahead of Lond. Is that how you say that? Someone tried to tell me, and then... Nancy? I still don't know. I imagine it's not. I don't know. I'm not even going to try. We need a win, though, and it's quite difficult when we don't have a goalkeeper. So this is the team that we're going to be playing today. We have scratched around and found another youngster, 20-year-old Albert Pasquia. 2-star current ability, 3-star potential ability. He has played a couple of games this season. Apparently we paid money for this lad in the summer. I don't really get why, because he's not any good. But he's going to be in goal for us today. And then the rest of the team, we've got Miguel, Julien, Brian Con, and DNA. I think that's how someone told me to say his name at the back. Because that went to extra time. Silla? Was that how you say? I'm going to give them all English names at this rate. He's being rested, which is why Julien is in the team. Then we've got Henry, Malogny, and Blin in midfield with Lasamba in behind. Slidger, who's coming in for Savic, because again, Savic is tired after the midweek exertion, and Diop has to play because he's good. He's got 8. Bearing in mind, he'd never scored for the club before I arrived. He's got 8 goals. Pretty much 8 goals in 8 games since I've been at the club. So he has to play. He's the main man. Let's get into the game. Guingamp. Would you believe I've got French blood in me? I'm like a 16th French. Cannot speak a word of the language, as you can probably figure out. Never even tried. I think we did it for a year in year 8, which, bearing in mind I'm 34, year 8 was over 20 years ago. I remember not a word of French. So I'm really struggling with these French names. I don't remember having this much trouble at Milan when we did Milan last year. I don't know if that's because it was Milan and it was like 2015 and I knew all the players anyway, so I already knew how to pronounce their names, or whether Italian names are just easier to pronounce than French ones. But these names, goodness me, they're hard. Right, Slidja. That was just awful. I don't even understand what he was trying to do there. And they are attacking, and because we don't have a goalkeeper, if they attack, they score. We're 1-0 down, 6 minutes on the clock, and that puts us back into the automatic relegation zone, and our goal difference is trash. So we actually have to be on more points than the team. We have to be on more points than the team above us to be above them. But yeah, we can't just be level on points because our goal difference is awful, and it's only going to get worse because we're not going to have a goalkeeper for the rest of the season, unless someone can tell me how to fix it. But to be honest, I'm recording this Monday night. By the time you see this on Wednesday, I think this one will be out, I'll have finished the season, and even if there is a solution, we're already relegated. Thanks for your help. But I would be interested if there is a solution, and the off chance that we manage to survive, I'd quite like to know for next year, because it would be quite handy. Right, they're in again, presumably to... He made a save. He only made a save. Goodness me. In fact, they've had 3 shots on target, 2 clear-cut chances. We've only conceded 1 goal. The young lad's doing all right. I'm mocking us for paying money for him in the summer. He's actually not having a bad game. If we look at the I don't know why I call them average ratings when it's one game. It's not an average. It's just a rating. If you look at the rating for today's game, he's one of our better players today. It's the rest of the team that haven't turned up. That's a nice move and a nice finish, though. I don't think we can put any fault on the goalkeeper for that. They just absolutely sliced us open. We haven't played this combination of defenders before, and bloomin' heck did it show there. Yeah, there's no goalkeeper saving that. It's a beautifully placed shot, but he never should have got into that position so easily, completely unchallenged, as we're sliced open by 2 really good passes. And somehow going 2-0 down has brought us back out of the relegation zone. I guess Lon... I hope it's Lon, or I'm going to look an idiot. That will make me look an idiot. I need to get out of France and quick, because I'm going to be offending everybody. People who don't speak French are just offended at how bad I am at it. And French people, goodness me, I'm going to have the French government after me for not being able to... I'm just offending everybody. But yeah, we're out of the relegation zone, so that's handy. They must be down in their game, which is where I was going, I think. And in fact, we've got a slightly better goal difference than Nancy. Although that's obviously going to change as we keep conceding lots of goals. Right, we're going to bring Savic on. La Samba has not been very good for the last 3 or 4 games now. It's a bit of a problem, but we have got this lad who's back from injury, Pierre Lys Melu. 2.5 star current and potential ability. He has been with us for a long time and has a history of scoring goals. He's not really done it this season because he spent most of the season injured. He needs to have a good run in, because ever since La Samba got that hat-trick 3 or 4 games ago, he hasn't turned up. I think he feels like his job is done. He's announced himself as a tour player and doesn't need to try anymore because he's a hero. Well, he's not going to stay a hero if he doesn't sort himself out. Right, I don't know who Camano is. He must be new. He's 27 years old, and he must be recovering from injury as well. I've let the assistant manager pick my subs again. I presume this guy has recovered from injury and is now... So we've got another striker now. Don't recognise the name. Which way round do they want to play? I mean, because he's a winger, really, he doesn't really want to play in either of those positions. Can he do anything up front? Not really. We'll just leave him as a poacher then. I mean, we've got 7 minutes and we've got a winger up front. We're not going to get back into today's game. It's not the goalkeeper's fault, though, really. If you look at the stats, they've had 4 clear-cut chances and only scored twice. We've just been poor everywhere else on the pitch. So none of this blaming it on the goalkeeper's nonsense. That was just a poor performance, and we need to get better. Right, this is about as must-win as they get for us. Valenciennes are 14th in the league. We're at home. we're not going to have many better opportunities than this to drag ourselves out of the problem that we're in, because we are still in the relegation playoff spot. Even a win today only moves us up one spot. We've got 8 games left. We need to win, I would say, at least 3 or 4 of them to be absolutely safe. It is really weird playing in a league where the points totals are so low and I've got so little experience of it that I have no idea how many points we actually need to be safe. Normally, I'd be thinking 50 points to steer clear of relegation. Obviously, we're not going to need anywhere near that. But I reckon maybe another 3 wins might even do it. And looking at our run-in, this has got to be one of them, I think. It's a massive, massive game for us. Right, tactics-wise, obviously we've changed nothing. Kev doesn't do tactics. We've brought a couple of the first teams back in. Savic comes back in up front. Sillard comes back in defence. Other than that, we're unchanged because we don't really have any other players. Yes, we want it more than they do. Yes, Malogny is fantastic. And they've got Roberto Carlos in midfield. Probably not that one, considering we're in 2024. And he'll be about 60 years old, I imagine. There's probably youngsters watching this who don't even know who he is. Let me know in the comments if you don't know who Roberto Carlos is, and that'll just make me really sad. I thought Henry was going to score there. Oh, Diop is going to score there. I mean, it was one of the most scrappy goals you'll ever see, but Diop with his 9th goal since I arrived at the club. He was on 0 goals when I arrived. He is very much Kev's man. And it's very, very scrappy, but he's playing as a poacher, and he's done exactly that. The ball falls loose in the area. I don't know what their keeper is doing. Did he not? Hang about. Why do I know that name? Have I had him in this save? Or is he a veteran of a previous save that I've had? Why do I know? Thomas Didilon. I reckon I had him at Everton, maybe, in the Everton save. Certainly the name is very familiar. And he was a very good goalkeeper, I think, maybe. Is he the one who was at Everton? Again, if you've been around for a little while, you'll know and you'll let me know. You lot know my players better than I do half the time. The name's very familiar, and I have no idea what he was doing there. But Diop's in again. Can he whip across in? He does, but there you go. Didion is there and collects it in. And now I've identified him. He'll have an absolute blinder from this point on. He'll ignore the fact that he made an absolute howler for their first goal. And remember, we're playing effectively without a goalkeeper, so they only need to have a shot and it'll be level. Diop again finds Savic. Savic to Henry, and I thought young Jack Henry, the Celtic reserve player, who has no business playing week in, week out in the top flight in any league because he's never even played for Celtic, but he does a job for me as a box-to-box midfielder, and there's their one shot and their goal because we haven't got a goalkeeper. I might stick Henry in goal, raving about how good he's been. I mean, there's not even an attempt to make a save here, I don't think. The ball's played through. I don't know why we're just waving our arms around. Oh, yeah. Oh, look, the ball's gone past. Let's wave at it. And then the goalkeeper just sort of flops over the top of the ball as it passes underneath him. We've given away a penalty, and they're having a penalty against what's basically an open goal. So it's 2-1. We're now behind in a game we've already identified we have to win. This is... When I am fired at the end of the season, we have to look back at the fact that, did he have his hands on his head? I don't usually replay replays. I'm fairly sure that incompetent idiot we've got in goal just tried to save a penalty with his hand on his head. How do we go back and have another look at a replay? I've never tried to do it before. I don't know. I think we'll have to do it after the match. I think he just dived like that and didn't even put his hands out. That's awful. That's one of the worst things I've ever seen. Oh, as I was saying, I wasn't wrong to come to tour. I wasn't. If our goalkeeper hadn't got injured, we were in good form. We were unbeaten in 4 games. We'd won 3 on the bounce and then lost one in the 91st minute. And it was really unfortunate. We were 3-1 up in that game. We were turning things around, and then we lost our goalkeeper. We weren't able to sign a new one, despite the game telling me we should be able to. And now things like that happen, where we've been the better team in this game. We've created more chances. we've just played better than they have, but because they've got a goalkeeper and we haven't, we're going to lose. And we don't deserve to lose this game. But we don't have a keeper. And that can't be my fault. But it'll get me fired. And it's so sad. Right, we need to try and get back into the game. But Diop just fires it straight into the wall. They've got a break on. They just have to beat the last man. They do. It's 3-1. And there we go. By the way, the camera and the mic didn't get out of sync with the game there. We just all knew it was a goal. The moment he got clear, it was always going to be a goal because we don't have a goalkeeper. Oh, it's so frustrating. I almost just snapped the arms off my glasses. What do you even do in a situation like this? Please let me know down in the comments. What on earth do you do when the game just slaps you in the face the way this one has to me? And yes, you could argue that we should have bought a backup goalkeeper in January, but you saw we didn't buy anyone really in January, apart from the one player that we needed to fix our first team. We didn't have enough scout reports in. Oh, and how often do you get a 6-month injury to your goalkeeper anyway? And then a broken finger to your backup goalkeeper. Both our keepers are out for the season. There's nothing I can do about this. I could change tactics, but we've been the better team. You just have to look at those stats. We have been the better team. Right, we need to watch this penalty. Oh, does it not show us it in 3D? How do we see it in 3D? Show me it in 3D, please. Well, that's a weird angle to look at a penalty from. Right, he's got his... Oh, it's done it properly this time. I'm very sure the first time he had his hands on his head. I think the game's being a bit of a rascal there. But never mind. None of it matters anyway. We're going down. We're still not in an automatic relegation spot, but it is only a matter of time. The two teams behind us have got a game in hand, and that was one of our only winnable games that we had left. Oh, it's all going to end badly. If you've enjoyed that, please pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. Please don't say I told you so in the comments. And thank you very much for watching.